The best way you can support me is with a simple subscribe. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, how's everybody doing out there? All right, so Meek Mill did an interview. Well, he did a few interviews, honestly. He did more than I thought he would. And salute to Meek Mill. His album, Wins and Losses, is in stores right now. I've listened to it a couple times. Like it thus far. I've been listening to this Quavo record where he took the Blues Clues and he was like, get the mail, I wanna yell. I've been turned up to that. I've been listening to the Thug record. And then I've been listening to Meek and the rest of the album as a totally different project and enjoying how deep Meek gets about his life and how personal he gets about the wins and losses, the trials and tribulations. So we will talk about Meek's album much more in the future. Go get that album, no stream it, do whatever you got to do. It's going to do pretty well. It's actually going to do better than what I thought it would. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Meek picked up a little steam the last couple of days with his interviews, and I think people connected a little bit the dots to old Meek, and I think Meek might do good. Anyways, he talked about a plethora of things. We have to cover these things in bunches because Meek doesn't do a lot of interviews, and one thing Meek Mill discussed in depth with Angie Martinez was the Beanie Sigel situation. For those who don't know, when it got rough with the game and Meek Mill, when it got rough with them, allegedly Meek got in the studio with Beanie Sigel, and then it all went downhill from there. The game and Beanie got into it, and then Meek and Beanie got into it, and Beanie got on the radio, or he did a Tax Stones podcast, and he was like, Meek was telling him this about Nicki Minaj. I thought that was out of line, personally. He was like, he was in the studio helping Meek Mill with his lyrics. It got messy, and it got messy quickly. Then I think the game reached out to Beanie, and it just got messy. Then Beans was at a show. I think that was the Bad Boys tour in Philly, and then one of Meek's men snuffed him. That wasn't good. Meek didn't really talk about that specifically. But Meek claims that really didn't have a lot to do with him. As a matter of fact, let's go to some direct quotes from Meek's interview with Angie Martinez. And this is what he said about the situation with Beanie Sigel. Yeah, Meek said, behind the scenes, I didn't really appreciate that. He came a little different. I would say this on his behalf, and he's like, I don't know this for a fact, but he's like, I believe Beanie Sigel was hot. He was out of control. And it wasn't like Meek was trying to slight Beanie right there. He also said that he was out of control and he had been under a lot of scrutiny, and he had been using the Xans and the Perkies to cope with a lot of stuff. And he was pretty much saying, I believe Beanie might have been doing the same stuff at the time. He said he didn't know that for a fact. He's like, one day we in the studio rapping together. The next day you on the phone, all aggressive, like, nigga this. You know what I mean? Then he went on to say, where that went to, that really had nothing to do with me. We never really had that type of relationship anyway. He don't wish bad on me. I don't wish bad on him. He went on to say, I looked up to Beanie my whole life. He talked about how he was a Jadakiss fan. And even though he was a Jadakiss fan and that was his favorite rapper, by default, he had to ride with Beanie during their whole spill because Beanie was Philly. All right, so that's pretty much what was all said in the interview with Angie Martinez about Beanie. What do I think about that? The situation, it's been a minute ago now, so I know it's in the back burner of a lot of people's minds. But if I remember the situation correctly, I believe in my heart of hearts, Meek and Beanie, kind of what Meek alluded to, they probably both were on some drugs and feeling themselves a little bit for different reasons, and probably both felt some type of way. Beanie, as he should, feels as though he's a legend, and he probably wants Meek to show more love. Meek's the one with the crown right now for Philly, that East Coast, and everybody's looking at Meek. He's got to be the guy to do it for everybody, and that just can't be the case. And you see in the quotes, Meek was like, I really don't have that kind of relationship with Beanie. I looked up to Beanie, but me and Beanie were never just that close for him to be getting on radio. And I know what Meek's upset about. He's upset about that comment that he told Tax when Meek had told. Now, why Meek told Beanie this in confidence, I don't know. That's kind of the contradiction in Meek Mill. But when Beanie kind of got on record and was like, Meek was like, he having problems with his girl, Nicki, and he want to break up with her. And I didn't understand that one from Beanie's side to go on record and talk about that. That was against every G code possible to me. And then I didn't understand Meek as well. If you say to somebody that you don't really look at that close, why would you be talking about that information about your girl with somebody else if you don't even rock with them like that. It didn't make a lot of sense. That's neither here nor there. I'm glad Meek is like, look, man, I'm not looking for Beanie Sigel. I don't have any problems with Beanie Sigel. He's like, it's kind of like it didn't have anything to do with me. It sounded like he was kind of alluding to the fact that when his man snuffed Beanie Sigel, it didn't have anything to do with Meek. It's kind of like he's saying he didn't put that hit out on Beanie. And then we don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But Meek Mill says he's not looking for Beanie Sigel. He said there's no ill will towards Beanie at all. It's kind of one of those stay in your lane, stay in my lane type ordeals. What do you think about Meek coming out and talking about the situation and with Beanie Sigel? Philly, stand up. What's good? Talk to me in the comment box below. Thank y'all for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing, creating your own platform, your own website.
I got one life to live out my dreams, and I'm giving this thing all I got. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I represent the culture.
Right now you're turning up on MrTaliaferro.com, shawty.